Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to this special breaking news edition of All Access AM. I'm Billy Embody. Thanks for joining us as we dive into probably the biggest news out of the ACC this transfer portal season, as Duke quarterback Darien Mensah has entered the NCAA Transfer Portal, according to reports from On3 on Friday. Hayes Fawcett, our national college football insider who breaks all sorts of commitments and other transfer news at On3, reported that Darien Mensah told him that he is entering the portal. This comes after the Tulane transfer led the Blue Devils to an ACC championship this season in Durham, and it is a major, major blow to Manny Diaz and the Duke Blue Devils for the 2026 season, as they were counting on Darien Mensah to be their quarterback for next college football season. It is something that I wanted to react to right away for you guys on this Friday as we continue to watch the transfer portal kind of rip apart college football teams here and there. And this is one that, as you watch it unfold, and the team that pops up right away is Miami. And the Miami Hurricanes playing for a national championship against Indiana on Monday night in Hard Rock Stadium in their home turf, while they're looking for their next quarterback to replace Carson Beck. And it's got to come from the transfer portal in all likelihood, and it's got to be a big name. That's how Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes roll, and they are working on that being Darien Mensah, and his name has now officially landed in the NCAA transfer portal. Just a probably shell-shocked Duke program right now. And there was some storylines around this starting to emerge on this Friday. And we'd seen it kind of reported elsewhere that there was growing concern. And sure enough, by Friday evening now, as we're getting into it over there on the East Coast, the news is official as he is leaving the program after one season. He's repped by Young Money, APAA Sports, one of the more, I would say, dynamic agencies in the college sports agency space right now. So that whole group is what organized what was one of the largest contracts that was reported on last offseason, as he was supposed to be a 2-year, $8 million man under that contract, and he earned it in 2025. He was an all-ACC selection for the Duke Blue Devils, and they won the final 3 games to secure their spot in Charlotte for the ACC championship. And lo and behold, they beat the Virginia Cavaliers to secure that Duke ACC championship for Manny Diaz. And the transfer portal ends Friday night for players to inform schools that they are entering the portal, and they have until Sunday to enter those players' names in the transfer portal. And for Duke to lose Darien Mensah at this moment, it really sets them up in a poor situation when it comes to who's going to be Duke's next quarterback. But this is as much about who's Miami's next quarterback in the transfer portal. So we'll dive into what this means for Miami in just a second. I do want to remind you guys, we are presented by our friends at Security National Bank. Go to securitynational.bank for more information on how they can help you and your family secure your financial goals and reach those financial goals. While you're scouting around on the internet this weekend, go to securitynational.bank and check them out for us. But Miami is losing Carson Beck to the transfer to graduation and the NFL. He's expected to be, a name that is certainly going to get called in the NFL draft, and especially the way he's closed out his regular season and now played in the college football playoffs. That certainly raised his stock just from a game manager, perspective. Heading into the college football playoff, he needed to have that type of a big finish to his season to really move his draft stock in the right direction. And he's done that. And nevertheless, though, Miami was going to have to go and find a transfer quarterback. And it appears they're going in the right direction here with Darien Mensah. According to On3's Pete Nakos, one of the top reporters you've got to be following along with in the transfer portal window and just all year round for breaking news. Pete Nakos reporting that Miami is the clear team to watch in this recruitment. Darien Mensah threw for 3,646 yards and 30 touchdowns with a 68% completion percentage. His total passing yards ranked third in the FBS in 2025, which was tops in the ACC. Kevin Jennings right behind him, and Drew Mestemaker was number one in the country in passing yardage, I believe. He was fifth in the FBS in passing touchdowns. That was Darien Mensah. And now looking like, kind of one of those dynamic quarterbacks that Miami has secured around its group of playmakers, could be heading down to Coral Gables for the 2026 season to play with the likes of a Malachi Toney, and what they continue to add in the transfer portal this offseason is impressive. So Miami, very clearly the team to watch here, according to On3's sources, and that would be a complete game changer for the Hurricanes heading into 2026. They've been looking for this quarterback. They've been linked to a guy like Sam Levitt. They've been linked to different high-level quarterbacks, and this is now somebody who you can certainly kind of bet your futures on for Miami to have if they get him, where they will be right back in the college football playoff contention and picture in the ACC. And not that they wouldn't necessarily have that already, but they've been at such a high level, as far as what they've been recruiting and acquiring via high school and transfer portal. You needed a quarterback to push them over the top. And while they've had some other guys on the roster that have, now waited their turn a little bit, they needed somebody like Darien Mensah to come in and really, make that program, elite again offensively, from a efficiency and from a explosiveness perspective. And when you look at what Darien Mensah could bring to Miami, that level of explosiveness is something that you can't really, quantify. That is not something that Miami necessarily had a ton of this year. And I know if any Hurricane fans are watching this, they're going to be like, what? But it really is a offense that I think could be more so like the Cam Ward offense of 2024, but maybe somebody who has a little bit better ability to take care of the football. I think Darien Mensah really grew in that respect late in the season, kind of watching him unfold in those final ACC games. And I see this as a huge, huge pickup for for Miami, if they do get this across the finish line. There's going to be a few other teams that are going to come calling here late, but keep an eye on Miami right now. Keep an eye on our friends at SportsMo as well. We'll take a quick break here and close out with some final thoughts, as SportsMo delivers you the opportunity to support your favorite college football and basketball teams with direct donations that can impact student athletes, benefits funds, and money that goes right in their pockets.
SportsMo lets you make a more direct impact on the game because it lets you, the fans, fund your favorite college football teams in a straightforward way. In a you win and I'll give way. In a I need you to show me your running game is alive and then I'll donate way. These real-time tax-deductible microfunds lead to impact your team can feel. Every cent you send mixes with every drop of sweat they put in. Form your squad. Boost your friends when a play comes through. A new way to follow the game. And cha-ching, your favorite team. So what do you say, difference makers? Ready to power the play? SportsMo. Download today. Let's Smo.
And let's Mo on with a little bit more reaction here to the news that Darien Mensah is entering the portal. When you look at the ACC transfer portal quarterbacks, I think obviously Darien Mensah is going to be the number one name. I mean, there's no question about it, just how elite he was this season. But it also underscores something that is happening in college football, that with some of the Twitter rumors out there, and trust me, I'm not trying to take them for, the truth or ironclad, perfection in terms of accuracy. But we know that Miami is going to pay up in this situation for a Darien Mensah if this is the guy that they're going to go out and get. And I think this is where college football and the rules around roster management, contracts, all of these things, they've got to get in a better situation, because look, everybody is trying to win games. There is not much, I don't want to say class left in the roster evolution phase of building your college football team. But man, this is a Manny Diaz, picked quarterback from Tulane that they went out and got to Duke. They paid him a handsome amount of money. And just when you think he's going to be one of the best storylines in the ACC because he's the quarterback at Duke, he's headed potentially to Miami, which is one of the most loaded rosters, talent-rich, resource-rich programs in the country. And that's just the current day and age of college football. So I'm not even faulting a Mario Cristobal in this situation if they do go out and get Darien Mensah like it's being rumored and floated right now. But it just underscores the problem we're dealing with in college football right now. It's hours away from the transfer portal deadline being there for players, where Darien Mensah couldn't have entered. And now they're going into the portal and going to find a new home in a matter of days. And that's an issue that I have with college football, because as you're planning your roster in the NFL, in the NBA, in the NHL, in the MLB, generally speaking, you have an idea of who's going to be on your team because you're under contract. And the ability for a player to really just play the just get out of jail free card here really bothers me when you have a program that has invested a large amount of money in you, that you have success with already, and you're going to go jump to a different situation because it's a better one. Because wherever he ends up, even if he ends up somewhere else outside of Miami, we all know that the situation for Darien Mensah to get him into the portal is an elite level situation that he's entering into to go somewhere else. So now Duke has to go out and find a quarterback, and their whole season projections are different now because they don't have Darien Mensah. And on top of that, Miami is the double winner here if they get Darien Mensah, because you have hurt a fellow ACC foe and left them without any time to rectify the situation. Now you've got to trust Manny Diaz that, he's a good coach. He's a bright coach. He can figure out a way to put together a different quarterback in this room for Duke that maybe gives them a chance to win. But I can guarantee you they're not going to have a quarterback there at Duke that gives them the same level of opportunity to win that a Darien Mensah did. And that's a shame with just the way it went down. You wish that somebody like this goes into the portal January 2nd, right after the Sun Bowl, and leading Duke to that win over Arizona State. And then Duke can go out and acquire a quarterback in the same amount of time. And there'd be grumbling about this type of a move, but there wouldn't be as much throwing everything up in the air as I think there's going to be over this by some. So if Darien Mensah is going to Miami, congratulations to Miami fans. I mean, he is a stellar quarterback. He's going to be an instant impact guy. We all know that. For Duke, you just feel horribly for that program. You really do. But this is what happens when you have the current landscape. This opportunity is there. I'll be interested to see if we have any more fireworks here in the final moments before the college football transfer portal window closes here for players to enter at least. Schools can still hold it until Sunday, but for players to enter coming this Friday night at 12:01 midnight or 11:59 p.m. midnight, whatever you want to call it. That is going to be an interesting piece to the puzzle here as we see if anybody else enters. Miami's looking to construct a roster at another high level. It'll be fascinating to see if they can figure that out and put in the right pieces again to continue to make playoff appearances or this time get to Charlotte for an ACC championship. Nonetheless, they do get Duke quarterback Darien Mensah. Miami has a quarterback that's been to Charlotte before and knows how to get the job done. So that could be invaluable for Mario Cristobal this coming season if they do end up getting Darien Mensah. So with that, guys, Miami currently the favorite for Duke quarterback Darien Mensah, who did enter the transfer portal on this Friday. We appreciate you guys tuning into this rapid reaction edition of All Access AM with Billy Embody. I appreciate you guys joining us on this Friday. Those of you guys who have jumped in the chat, appreciate you guys as well, but did want to react to this news. We'll have a lot more on Monday's show. We're live Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 to 8 a.m. Central on our YouTube channel, All Access AM. Please hit that subscribe button for me if you're watching this right now on our YouTube channel. And you can also scan the QR code in the top right or left of the screen, whichever one it is for you, and you can subscribe to our channel. All we do is talk ACC football, basketball, transfer portal, and more. So we hope you guys, whether you're a Miami fan, whether you're a Duke fan, or a general ACC fan, you join us on All Access AM. I'm Billy Embody. We appreciate you guys listening to us, and we'll catch you guys Monday. What a Friday of ACC news. So glad you guys were here to join me on this rapid reaction to Darien Mensah entering the portal. So check out our sponsors, Security National Bank, as well as SportsMo and OPW Solutions, of course, commercial services company in North Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and beyond. Appreciate their support of All Access AM. We'll catch you guys next time on another edition of All Access AM. Have a great weekend, everyone.